Okay, so let's start this talk. Welcome and thanks for being here. You can be honest, who's just here because you didn't get a seat at Benji's talk over there? Yeah, thank you very much for having me here with this talk. Of course, it's more or less non-technical talk. For those who do not know me, I'm Fabian Stein. I'm CEO at TYPO3 and I'm for a long time active in the TYPO3 universe on various positions. So why am I actually talking about AI at a developer conference? Of course, I would say I'm more a semi-AI critic guy. I'm not like a cheerleader and next to AI. And I try to find pragmatic solutions. And yeah, my job as the non-technical CEO of TYPO3 is, of course, always this translation part. And that's the reason why I want to be here today. Today I have no agenda with me, what I want to do with that talk. I actually have goals with us. So first of all, what we are heading, I would like to give you a glimpse of what our TYPO3 is actually using AI. And I hope we come out here together and have some nice things we can do as a community together. So this talk might feel a bit like a self-help group. It is meant that way. Let's start over, me, myself, and AI. Of course, I'm manager. I always want to talk about myself, but I try to do it this time not just about myself. I want to try to talk about us, what we are doing in the community. That was my focus, and for that, of course, I was asking around and look what the community out there is doing. When I started sending this talk in, my hope for today was a bit like this. I had a lot of ideas. Okay, I asked all the agencies what they are doing, and they all have very nice ideas. And I came here and show you all the nice stuff. You can now join in, and you are cheering, and it's a great session. I ended up like this. So basically, I am more or less where I started. So I had the feeling a bit of going around, talking to each other, and started with my knowledge actually where I was. What we want to do together now is look a bit deeper into why that happened to me. First of all, AI is boring. AI is so boring that I can't get enough O's in my moderator notes because it's so boring. As apps, back in the days, as blockchain, everybody wants to do AI and nobody has a use case. So since I'm on a developer conference, of course, most of you know adding ChatGPT to whatever text editor isn't the hot shit. But somehow still it feels a little disruptive. ChatGPT and DeepL are so deeply integrated into my day-to-day work, doing concepts, doing offers, whatever. It feels a bit like smartphones back in the day. They were so much and so fast, somehow normal that they don't feel new, but of course they changed, at least in our business, a lot. For example, we at TYPO3, we had an external copywriter. We don't have them anymore. And all my fellow CEOs I asked from other companies are somehow feeling a bit, unsure what happened to the structure of the company. So all end up in this uncertainty. Will AI be quite expensive? Will it take more work away from us? Will it gain more work? What will happen? Some of you maybe have seen me on TYPO3Con Düsseldorf, and some of these slides are already, were actually there. Oops. Why is that? And that is because the situation for the companies is nearly the same like it was back in Düsseldorf. And that was the reason why we had the AI Discovery Day starting this year in Düsseldorf. Maybe some of you have recognized it. Luisa and I had the idea okay, every company has nearly the same issues. Why should every company fix this on their own? We are an open source community, so let's share knowledge. It's not code, but let's share knowledge. And I want to tell you a bit about what happened there, because we were 30 people from a lot of companies on different sizes. And we were tackling 5 big questions, I would say. So, what is AI changing in my agency? What use cases customers already have, and where do they see upselling potential? How can I support my colleagues and employees to warm up with the new systems? What solutions already exist in TYPO3 universe, and where will we see the real risks? What, of course, was very important for me as a manager of a company was the same feeling maybe some of you have already. You think I read a lot about AI, I know a lot about AI, but I'm not quite sure if my view of the world is the right one. And that was very nice, because there were a lot of people from at least all places in the TYPO3 community, and we get a nice overview. So let's start at what is changing in AI Man agency. And of course, first of all, AI is a chance and not a threat. That was basically the meaning of everybody. Basically, a very obvious sentence, but it feels quite relieving for me, as we are talking on a very fundamental level. The feeling AI is somehow there. Say AI changes agencies very fast, and it will not replace people on a shorter midterm. Yeah, Benny talked about this at the keynote today, but we need a European solution. Funny thing, of course, on the discovery day, there were more like managing people or product owners or something, and not that much developers. And Atlassian has made a nice questionnaire. What obvious say that managers are much more into marketing, and that is the reason why they believe in changing AI a lot more than developers are doing. So maybe it's a bit biased. Let's move on. What use cases are there? What use cases customers already have? Yeah, we were 30 agencies there. The picture is nearly everywhere the same. Clients are highly interested in AI, but they don't know where or when to use it. We have 3 big topics, I would say. We have AI in mind or implemented, depends on the agency. It's getting information out, like FAQ, chatbot, all types of content. Getting help with editing, like SEO, overworking, translation, and so on. And generating stock image. Those were the 3 big topics we had use cases on this AI day. The next table was about how supporting the colleagues. I would say maybe some of you have the same stereotypes in your company. There's this guy who always wants to do new shit, no matter if it's useful or not. There's this guy who never wants to use new shit, because Templar Voila is still the best templating, I'm pretty sure. And the guy who's sitting in the middle and try to hold this shit together. And the question was how to support them. And the first and very important is talk about success stories. And success stories is a very important word, especially when you sit together with a lot of managers, because the question is success a good idea, or is success something that is productive? And we learned that talking about things that are really helping is very important. And the next thing is give time. AI is nothing that just happens to your company. AI is something you really need time for. You need time to give people to set things up. And last but not least, the question: give guidance. a lot of people are somehow still struggling. If can I do this now, or can I put my complete repo in there, and so on and so forth. And there are many different answers to that question, especially for every company and on the client and so on. So give guidance as a manager what people can use. And we tried this year. We actually at Punkt.de we set it up a guideline for our developers. So what tools are they allowed to use and what they can do with that. And we had actually yesterday we had a big AI workshop in the company where we get external persons from Saxony AI. I will talk about them later on a little. And they had actually a whole day with all of our developers to try and to give an input about how coding with AI works. Of course, you will always have people in the company that knows everything, and you will always have people that are not there yet. But it's very good to give at least have a base for everybody to say, okay, we are all on the same page here. The fourth table was was very interesting as well. That was the table I was moderating, and we had some nice discussions, because of course we need to join forces within the community. Yeah, we all know when new topics come to TYPO3, there is the good way. Like we have at start of a new topic, we have like 10 extensions out there, and after 2 to 3 years, we have 2 to 3 very good extensions, and then it's fine. Sometimes it happens that we have one extension that is working. After that, we have 20 extensions that are somehow working. And then we start content blocks. So we have a lot of extensions already out there. We have extensions for the creation process, like AI Suite, like Co-Writer, like MCare Content AI. We have extensions for after work, like DeepL, Easy Language AI, SEO, and many more. So there are a lot of extensions out there. One interesting thing actually that came up there, what I at least hadn't in mind till then, was that point where Benny was in the keynote as well. Are we actually creating things? And that was the part where my mind actually changed. That this generative AI in backend might help at some points, but actually, for example, the review processes in big companies, we all know workspaces have got better, but they are used to Word and annotate things and so on. So most of our big clients come to a point where they actually say, I have a complete ready Word, I have complete ready for pictures, and I want to put them in the CMS. I don't want to generate there something. I just want to create a page, for example, and say, hey, you have here this 500 blog post, just put this word and those pictures together and make the 501st blog post out of it. That was one of the very interesting things there. And AI change, of course, change is scary, but it's not the Armageddon. So, of course, most of us are not that size that we are actually that deep in the LLM game and try to build our own LLM. So this chase is maybe interesting for us, but it will not kill us. Okay, something obvious. Most of you know a lot of things I tell here. But the interesting thing is, I've been through a lot of, or through a couple of companies before these dev days, and it's still the way it is in most of our community. We have our unusual suspects. We have people here with use cases we know, we understand, the client understands, and they are very helpful, of course. We have SEO support, chatbots, accessibility, the generative AI in CMS, all those things where clients understand what AI does, why it helps, and we all can sell them. On the other hand, I see things like this here, and I totally don't understand. There are people actually telling that they want to come to the office because ChatGPT is there for free. So somehow AI in those use cases is cold coffee for everybody of us. But what was for me the interesting thing is that it's the same cold coffee for everybody. And that is for me as a manager quite relieving. I had the feeling, and maybe some of you have the same, like we are the only stupid guys. We are the only one that are not fast enough. We are the only one who have no production ready AI thing, whatever. But still, in the moment, I don't feel the panic anymore. And that makes it quite hard because when I try to think about AI, and that is maybe something you already have in your companies, is that you always get the same answers to the questions you ask around AI. It somehow feels like this. Are you guys using AI? Fuck yeah, of course. Really deeply integrated? Well, all right, we have a ChatGPT account for the whole company. We need to run to somebody when the password changes. So the feeling for me is now not anymore how Punkti or I end up in the back seat. The question is how we together not end up in the back seat. I want to give you a little overview about what we do or what we try to do for this. Probably the story is everywhere the same. We have some juniors sitting trying to build something with AI. We have the standard use cases, and yeah, when I want to do marketing, in our biggest client, we have now an AI chatbot. What we actually did, we pasted the JavaScript snippet from the chatbot in the cookie banner, but we have a chatbot. The most success story of AI at Punkti this year is that actually Gemini won our bet game for Europe this year. That was very hard for all of us. And for whatever reasons, they don't want to drink our Äppler. So we will lose relevance when we are just the consuming part of ChatGPT AI. But it's very hard to keep up to date because it's slower than I expected. Our copywriter, as I said, is gone. We don't have a copywriter anymore. But the question of power versus quality at AI is very interesting, as most of you know who daily work from day to day with AI. So the trick will be to find the really great applications within our projects. So what I tried, I asked in the community, I get all the usual suspects. So I stopped asking in our community and I start asking outside of our community. I found the company Saxony AI that was actually a tip of our friends from DKD, and we had a project together with them. And yeah, that was very interesting because they are actually an AI company. So what I learned from them are some very interesting use cases I want to talk about. First use case, LLM as a judge. What they had in an issue, they have a client which is a government a government-based organization, and they have agents that go outside and ask customers for some things. And what they want is a chatbot that actually helps the agents when the customer somehow not interacted the way it was expected. The issue was, for example, agent comes, ring bell, door don't open. For generative AI, actually is kick in the door a legitimate answer. For the customer, it isn't. And that was the reason why they had, for example, 2 LLMs. The one LLM generating the answer, the other LLM is actually voting or judging this answer. And just when the judgment has a level, it will actually prompt something. One other thing that for me as a web guy was totally weird, they had the problem that a very old Windows application, for whatever reasons they can't update it, they did not build a new front end for it. They parameterized the whole application and built a chatbot on it. So in the moment this has no front end at all, you just chat with it. For all of those things, they're using rec workflows. Who is have a rec workflow in production somewhere? Okay. So let's look a little into rec. Of course, most of you know pre-prompting. Who knows pre-prompting? You know pre-prompting? Okay, the idea of pre-prompting is basically that you have a couple of things you add it to your prompt before you give it to the LLM, and this helps you to be more precise in the answer. For example, when you give your company and your company description with or something. What I was wondering when we're talking about bigger use cases in our workflows, I was wondering, okay, will training of an open source LLM sometimes be the case, or will it be a thing? Of course, you can do it in the moment, but will it really be a thing that I can somewhere somebody sell? I don't feel it. They don't feel it. Maybe some of you have an idea of how to do this, but probably it's much too cost intensive. It's too energy intensive. You don't want to do this. And RAG is maybe a solution for that, because what you give when you try to generate an answer, you give a prompt and a query, and the query is actually searching additional information in a knowledge source. And this knowledge source can be your Nextcloud, your database, your knowledge graph, you name it. And then you get the relevant information from the knowledge source, you get the query, and you have the prompt, and you send all this to the you send all this to the LLM, and this makes much better answers. And this, for example, fix the problem, at least we have often when we talking with customers about generative AI. How can I avoid that the generative AI proposes the product of my biggest enemy, whatever? This will be fixed by this. The pros, of course, it's very easy to update. Yeah, most of you are developers. It's very easy to put something new in a database or to store a new file or something. It's much faster and much actual than it is to train the LLM all the time you have new information. And it's very easy to change the LLM. Of course, getting back to this, when you're thinking about, sorry, that's interesting. When you're thinking about this this large language model endpoint, today it's Gemini, tomorrow it's Llama. You can change it very fast. And so you have much options to use it, especially we have big clients with many different applications, and such a thing you can set up and use it in many applications. And what is interesting for us as companies is that, of course, the holy grail of most of us is, of course, we have the marketing guys or the IT guys that are asking us in the first time, and of course the big goal is to have at the end the whole company relies on us. And that is something, when you set this up very good, it's maybe something you can dig deeper into your customers. The cons, of course, it will set up. You have to set up this knowledge source in front, and you have to find the knowledge of your customer, which depends of the customer. It's very easy or very hard. And yeah, you still possibly can get wrong answers because it still goes to an LLM you don't have in your hands. Just yeah. As we have 2 more minutes, some other very fancy use cases. There was a library coming to them and saying, "Hey, we have here a lot of old Tibetan documents. Can you translate them?" And what they did is, integrate like the first 6 of them and then translated all the others. Or, for example, they simulating the possible behavior of a fuel cell or camera detection on 2D pictures. What all of those things have in common is that it's very easy to generate their own example data. Let's stay to the Tibetan documents. You make 6 documents translated, and then you let the AI generate a lot more example data out of those, and then you can store all them in the knowledge source to help you. But of course, when we want to use all this, we need the technology. And most of you, I don't know actually how many of you already use it in your company. Adding AI to the IDE will change nothing. We done this a month ago, something like that. And even our CTO was very underwhelmed. It was like, okay, you started now, and the change between the prefill before and afterwards was not that excited. So as we were speaking above, you really have to start working with AI actually. Very basic, of course. Most of you will know. Of course, AI encoding helps a lot when we're talking about transformation from documentation in code, or when we want to generate boilerplate code or something, or when we have transfer learning because we know how to do something in language A and we want to transfer it and so on. But I don't want to dig deeper into that because probably developers can tell you this much better than I can. I want to go a little more on the organizational side. So let's talk about open source LLMs. How can we prevent our expertise from floating away? Yeah, most of you know them. We have a lot of large language models out there, of open source large language models. And of course, Llama 3.1 is the new hot shit on earth. The hype was very high, and we have not really tested it yet. We just have set it up and tried it a little. It looks promising, but still it's open source from a big tech company. For those of you who know me a little, I'm a big fan of Bitkom and Gaia X. We are trying to be our part of Bitkom. And the values that Gaia X actually have are values I really like and I really stand behind. The idea, of course, of Gaia X is to have this European data sovereignty. We want to generate a federated cloud service, and we want to do this with open standards and open source. And what actually is very European, we want diverse participation. We don't want to build up the next superscaler, the next European superscaler. We actually want to try to make it in a diverse participation. So the basic idea is you have an infrastructure ecosystem where you have such Gaia X nodes. Our friends from Ionos, I don't know if somebody's here. Our friends from Ionos already have Gaia X nodes, and they are already providing infrastructure to this ecosystem. And on the other hand, there's this data ecosystem. So all all of this can work together, and it's for guys from Ionos, and it's for smaller agencies. Then we are all can participate. That's the idea. So of course, Gaia X and TYPO3, it's really a match from the values we share. We have many ideas together, so we could be part of that ecosystem. And it's getting better even because Gaia X is already thinking about an LLM, and they call it OpenGPTX. So OpenGPTX should be the new European LLM. And for example, the BMWE is spending 15 million euros over the last 2 years for development. And yeah, we all will have a nice open source European LLM. We won't probably. Or maybe we will have, but it will take some time. I started, Punkt.de is part of the Bitkom, and I'm part of the Gaia X circle, and I first learned about OpenGPTX, I think sometimes August, September-ish, like last year. I think we have 2 blog posts since then. And I hear somewhere somebody has talked about, but actually there's no progress. And of course, 15 million for the most of us in our companies, 15 million is a lot of money. But when we're thinking about how much money probably Meta spent it for Llama 3.1, it's probably not that much. Okay, so what we want to do. OpenGPTX, Gaia X, it's very theoretically, it's not that enthusiastic. So we still are in the EU contrast. We have a lot of things that are, yeah, like a fingertip away. We have Atlassian AI, JetBrains, GitHub, you name it. You have all the tools you have. And on the other hand, the question of generative AI, for example, in the AI Act is more or less not tackled. KPMG warns that the consequences of AI are very hard. Of course, they want to sell more. And yeah, virtually we are not relevant in European in the moment. So the question to all of you is open source in AI a thing? Is it important for you? Do you want to be part of it or not? To wrap it all up, we have some thoughts in the end. And the first of it is probably for all of you the well-known thing: don't panic. What actually was a different end than I thought I would have. I really thought when I started with this talk, I really thought that I have to say, hey, we are very slow. We are the slow guys, and the world outside is very fast, and speed it up. The change is not nearly as fast as 2023 wanted to make us believe. Our market is still here. We are still here. And what Benny in the keynote said as well, the race with end users may be lost, but in B2B, there's a lot of things you have to do. There's a lot of fights you have to fight. There's a lot of things you can do and you can build for your customers. And we have a chance to be part of it. I know that TYPO3 is focusing on content management, and that is very good. That is very much better than it was in the last years, or maybe a bit longer, when we try to be a shop as well and we try to do whatever in TYPO3. But yeah, it's not nothing that goes away. So first of all, be good at what you do. We know that some jobs are already gone, but when you are good in what you do, I'm pretty sure that what we do will last longer. Next thing is stay on it. it's harder than I thought. When I thought end of last year, every new AI thing on T3N, on Heise, whatever, I want to read everything. I really was like, hey, it's the new hot shit. It will change everything. I want to be part of it. And I would say this summer, yeah, there's the next AI article. But other than blockchain, I'm afraid that you can't wait till AI is over. So you have to be disciplined and you have to stay on it on a disciplined level. And last but not least, stay on it together. And that's why I wanted to have this talk on a developer conference. Because I totally understand that no hype or no ignorance will help. Sometimes the manager comes in and says, hey, we want this new hot shit AI thing, and tells a lot of stories, and the developer says, yeah, well, AI isn't AI. I have my colleague here that always explained me that AI has nothing to do with intelligence. That's totally right. But both will not help. Neither will help that the managers try to hype it over the edge, and neither it will help to ignorance it. We have to keep constantly on AI, and we have to change constantly together in this community. Thank you very much. Questions? Ah, Tom is sitting in the dark, so yeah, maybe the guys from Saxony actually they have a server in the basement trying to do this, especially for those customers who don't want to have it somewhere online. And they say the same. They say when they don't have to, they would never use it. And they have like this. They told us they have 5 or 4 graphic cards in it, and for example, Llama 3.1 will not run at it. They need even more, and the energy costs just go through the roof. That's the same, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm here the next days. So if you want to talk about something, just yeah, come to the reception desk or something. And now we start over to the coffee break, I think.